starting on YouTube. Hello.
Now we are recording.
There we go.
Yeah.
You didn't miss much.
So you didn't miss much. We talked about the L that Urban Meyer took. We haven't even gotten into it. We're just kind of giving a show rundown here.
Basically. Jackson Mahomes had a rough night. We'll get into that in our L's of the day coming up. And then a little bit later on as well, we're going to be giving NFL picks for this weekend. A lot of great games. Starting tonight was maybe the game of the weekend. Chiefs-Chargers in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast there at SoFi Stadium.
And then tomorrow, we promised you we'd go out with a bang, and we are. We're going to be doing two major segments tomorrow. Our first one, a tier list of our favorite 30 for 30s, and we'll share it on social media so that you can play along as well. Let us know your responses. And then also something I'm really excited about. Steph Curry broke the record earlier this week for the most three-pointers ever, and myself included, a lot of people have referred to him as the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be fun to have the Testa and Neal GOAT discussion, where we pick a sport, for instance, football. We pick a category, for instance, defensive end. We put together 2 or 3 resumes of the best defensive ends of all time, and we pick our GOAT.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing that for most of the show tomorrow as well. So let us know your opinions, your GOATs, and your opinions on the 30 for 30s that we rank tomorrow. But tomorrow should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be. Urban Meyer out as the head coach in Jacksonville for the Jaguars. There was kind of like a accumulating pile of nonsense for Urban Meyer. It seems like it just got to the point where the Khan family and the ownership there in Jacksonville was fed up with Urban. Rumor has it that he got into it with a lot of his coaches since he took over. He got into it with some players. He
got into it with everyone.
It sounds like he, ruffled everybody's feathers in Jacksonville. News came out last night that he was fired. Their kicker, Josh Lambo, came out that Urban Meyer kicked him. I don't know why you would kick a kicker because, Urban Meyer's got an old leg and Josh Lambo's a professional football kicker. So if he kicks back, it's not going to feel good.
Well, it reminds me of the, like I told you earlier, the Key and Peele skit from, maybe 10 years ago, where it's the Sunday night football game, but they're announcing the crimes that they have committed. And the one was like, Buster Douglas, I hit my wife. And then his wife comes on and says, and I'm his wife, I hit him back.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of, where it's like Josh Lambo, Urban Meyer hit him, I hit him back. So credit to Josh Lambo, though. I mean, it takes a lot of, professional athletes and athletes in general are kind of put in that position where if somebody hits you and you hit them back, you take the harder punishment. You have more to lose. So credit to Josh Lambo for realizing, what he had to lose there and not reacting in a way that could have gotten him in a lot of trouble as well.
So this is an ESPN article from Michael DeRocco. So offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell will serve as the interim head coach, Jaguars have said that general manager Trent Baalke will remain in his position. Jaguars are 2-11 this season, and they have their 10th season with double-digit losses in the past 11 years, and they. It was off-the-field issues that are what doomed him. It says, quote, from hiring a strength and conditioning coordinator who had been accused of making racist remarks and bullying players to a video of Meyer with a woman who is not his wife at a bar, to tensions between Meyer and his staff and his players. There was dysfunction also from the moment Meyer was hired. It says, quote, the latest embarrassment was a report Wednesday in the Tampa Bay Times that former kicker Josh Lambo accused Meyer of kicking him in the leg while he was stretching in warm-ups during a practice before the final week of the preseason. Marvin Jones had to be persuaded to return to the team facility after leaving in response to Meyer's published criticism of his wide receivers. And of course, Urban Meyer's denying everything, and right. Who wouldn't? But it's been just, it says, quote, the incident with Jones was just one of many examples of dysfunction within the facility and left Shad Khan to fire Meyer a little less than a year after he sat next to him in a news conference and proclaimed, quote, this time I got it right in choosing the three-time college national champion, to replace Doug Marrone. And, the dysfunction began almost immediately afterwards. That with the strength coach, Chris Doyle, the Tim Tebow thing was a complete flop. He was going to play tight end, and he couldn't play tight end. It's just been, it's been a mess. Mess of dysfunction in Jacksonville.
It has.
So we'll see if this time they can get it right for real. But you never know.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, we are at the point now, Parker, where it's not becoming a hot take anymore to say that college coaches don't work in the NFL. We've seen it with Bobby Petrino. We've seen it with Nick Saban. We've seen it with Greg Schiano. Now we've seen it with Urban Meyer. These guys have gotten so used to how you can treat an 18-year-old athlete more like, a glorified high school teacher. Go to class, go to bed on time, get up for practice, get to the weight room on time, all that stuff. These 30-year-old professional athletes that make $20 million a year, they don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
So these college coaches turned NFL coaches are struggling to, appeal to these professional athletes because they've never had to deal with professional athletes before. And I think that's why you're seeing NFL coordinators succeed more in their first head coaching jobs than college coaches.
Meyer clashed with his assistant coaches. According to multiple sources, assistants were upset at having to plan into the night for preseason games and the way Meyer treated them. Meyer earned a reputation for being hard on his coaches during his college career, and sources said Meyer came down hard on Jaguars assistants when the team was not having successes. Instead of calling out players for playing poorly, Meyer would blame everything on the assistant coaches. Meyer had already lost multiple staffers before mid-December. Special teams coordinator Brian Schneider left the team in May for personal reasons. Chief of Staff Fernando Lovo left to return for Texas for a job in the athletic administration.
Mm-hmm.
And defensive line coach Tosh Lupoy and tight ends coach Tyler Bowen are expected to leave after the season for Florida and Virginia Tech, respectively. So what the normal adage is, when stuff isn't going right, what do you see every NFL head coach do? This is on me. Bad game plan.
Right.
Da-da-da-da-da. My assistants had nothing to do with this. Urban was doing the opposite, where this is not my fault. My assistants were not prepared. Players need to be better. He starts blaming the players. So it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when for Urban Meyer.
And, I mean, any chance that Urban Meyer had of turning this around and getting to next season and maybe, getting to start a second chance went out the window when that quote came out that after that game he said, "I'm a winner and all my assistants are losers." Like, you all are losers. Like, that's everybody who semi had your back at that point was out the window.
Yeah. They jumped ship immediately
and
after that.
And one of the reasons I read this morning that Shad Khan had to pull the trigger now instead of waiting until the end of the season was a lot of the assistants on this staff were planning on, leaving the Jacksonville organization after this year. And some of them had already had, secret jobs lined up after their Jacksonville tenure. So Shad Khan had to make this decision so that he didn't have to build a brand new coaching staff.
Yeah. It was Meyer's relationship with some players also strained in addition to his issues with Lawrence, Robinson, and Jones. Multiple sources said multiple sources said players openly made fun of Meyer in the locker room in the days following the viral videos of him with a woman in a bar,
right?
Which the NFL Twitter went crazy for, and a lot of those were very funny. But
yeah, those memes were pretty good.
They were. But more of the story: Jaguars have an interim head coach. They will be looking for another head coach for the second time in as many years. And
this time they got to get it right. You got to find somebody that's going to help develop Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. So
what would be, obviously we don't know a ton about the state of, the NFL coaching tree. But if I'm Jacksonville right now, I want an offensive mind that can help grow Trevor Lawrence, that can help grow Laviska Shenault, that can help grow James Robinson and Travis Etienne. My number one target right now, Parker, is Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator in Kansas City.
Yeah, I like it. Eric Bieniemy is a good option a name that comes to mind for me is Doug Peterson, former Eagles head coach. I don't know where he is now, but I believe he's somewhere. I don't know where he is.
Looks like
I don't think he's anywhere actually.
looks like he might have just had a year off.
So the name that comes to mind for me is Doug Peterson to head to Jacksonville. And then another one that comes to me is Brian Dable, the Bills offensive coordinator.
Of course.
He comes to mind for me as well. So there's a few different options out there.
According to CBS Sports, another candidate is Josh McDaniels. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I think we've seen Josh McDaniels at this point turn down enough positions and turn down enough interviews that it's pretty clear that the writing on the wall is Josh McDaniels is going to be the next head coach of the New England Patriots when Bill Belichick is done.
Yeah. And then a few more names that come to mind for me is Jim Caldwell.
That could be a sneaky good hire.
Former Detroit Lions head coach, and he used to coach the Colts as well. There's other options as well. Byron Leftwich, Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator, done a great job.
That would be a riskier hire, but it could be a high risk, high reward.
Right. It's like a Sean McVay type hire.
Right. Or Zach Taylor. Well, it'd be probably a little less risky than a Zach Taylor, but it's the same idea. An offensive mind that has not been a head coach anywhere.
Right. And then another one of those names that has not been a head coach anywhere is Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Can come to mind as well. I know he's been thrown out in some head coaching.
A guy that a lot of people think that he can't be a head coach anymore because of the struggles he had with the Jets. But a guy I'd really like to see get a second chance because of how good he's been with the Buccaneers defense is Todd Bowles.
Yeah. I love Todd
I think
Bowles.
the Jags are going to go offense, but I hope Todd Bowles is a head coach somewhere next year.
Right. I think, Jaguars need to go offensive minded as well. But if they want to go the defensive route, you have a few different options. Matt Eberflus with the Colts defensive coordinator. He's been thrown out in some names as well. These are some long shots that are with that have head coaching experience. Marvin Lewis, possibly, even though he spent 80 years in Cincinnati.
Isn't he like a special assistant at Arizona State right now?
He currently is a special advisor on Herm Edwards' staff in Tempe.
That's what I thought.
Jim Caldwell and then Doug Peterson as well. Here's one that's interesting to me. If the Steelers decide to go a different direction, maybe Tomlin could end up in Jacksonville. I
wouldn't bet on it, but I also wouldn't be stunned.
Right. That's one of I think that's the least likely of options.
Because I think Tomlin's also a defensive-minded guy where, I don't know. But I could see them wanting an experienced guy to lead a younger team.
And I think that there's people throwing out names of college coaches. No college coaches.
They learn this.
You learn that you don't go Urban Meyer.
Don't do Lincoln Riley's not leaving USC. You just got there.
Right. Matt Rule has struggled in Carolina.
Who would be the college coach that you'd want if you can't get Lincoln Riley?
Nobody.
Dabo's not leaving Clemson.
Dabo's not leaving Clemson. And
Saban, we tried that. Yeah. He's not leaving Bama.
Right. So it's an interesting story.
Professional football and college football are two completely different sports, and we learned that with the Urban Meyer era in Jacksonville.
Here's an interesting thought, and it's not going to happen. But if they decide to go the college route, what about Luke Fickell?
I suppose it's not impossible. I don't know if Luke Fickell would want to do that. I think Luke Fickell's kind of holding out for the perfect job. But, I mean, money talks. And if Jacksonville offers him a contract he can't turn down, there's a lot worse places to live than Jacksonville, Florida.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I could sit here and talk about this for the remainder of the show. But
And another candidate I'll throw out there, I don't know how serious this could be or not. But I know a guy that's gotten a lot of traction over the last couple months is Brian Callahan, who's the offensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals, with just what he's been able to do with Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, Chase. So he's one of those other emerging offensive minds.
Yeah.
They got him as an offensive or like a quarterback assistant or something from the Raiders. He's done a nice job in 2 years as offensive coordinator. So maybe not this year, but within the next year or two, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Callahan's a head coach.
There's another offensive mind, and that's Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator in Green Bay. So we could sit here and talk about. I mean, I think that's my favorite.
There's
thing.
a list of 20, 30 coaches that the Jags can go after.
We might do one of these shows in the sometime in January just to talk about coaching stuff, because that's my favorite time of year is Black Monday is a blast because I am constantly refreshing Schefter's Twitter on Black Monday to see who's getting fired, who's going where.
And what I've learned in covering the NFL not covering the NFL, I'm not Schefter, but watching the NFL and keeping up with it. For every Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys, where it's a big name that made a lot of sense, we kind of saw it coming. There's also a Zach Taylor to the Bengals and a Brandon Staley to the LA Chargers and a Nick Sirianni to the Philadelphia Eagles. For every big name hire that you saw coming, there's some guy that comes from nowhere to be an NFL coach. So really, the Jaguars could go out there and hire a Mike Tomlin or an Eric Bieniemy, and we wouldn't really be all that shocked. They could go out there and get, they could talk, Lee Corso out of retirement for all I know.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think Lee Corso wants to coach the Jags.
No. That's like Lou Holtz coming back and coaching Jacksonville. But
where's my pencil?
There it is. I haven't seen.
That's how you pick winners.
That's how you pick winners. So, more of the story: Urban Meyer out in Jacksonville. Darrell Bevell will serve as the interim head coach for the remainder of the year, which is only like 4 or 5 weeks. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next month, and to see who Jacksonville brings in to replace Urban Meyer. And after this debacle, I don't think Urban gets another job.
I don't either.
It's, I
think there's just too much negative PR for any, D1 university that would want to bring him in.
I saw a pretty funny tweet last night, and it said Urban got fired before he could resign due to health issues, which is pretty funny. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to do our college football bowl index at the top of the 2 o'clock hour. We still have our L headlines of the day coming up then too. So we're going to step away for about 3-4 minutes. When we come back, Parker, I found this interesting map of the U.S. on Twitter today. It's from Baseball Reference. It's all 50 states. And the most popular baseball player of all time in all 50 states. We're going to play a game, see how many you can get. And we'll do that to end the 1 o'clock hour when we come back right here on Testa and Neal. Keep it real right here on WWSU 106.9 FM.
What's going on? It's Kev Nash from Hot 102.9 and 1410 Wing AM. And did I mention I'm a WWSU alum? You're hanging out with my guys, Testa and Neal, as they keep it real right here on Dayton's Right Choice.
Shout out to the one, the only Kev Nash. And I feel for Kev last night. Kev was a whole mood where he was supposed to have the day off work yesterday. I saw him at about 6:15 and he comes in and he just looks upset. I didn't know he had the day off work. And I'm like, Kev, what's up? And he's like, well, I was supposed to have the day off, but we scheduled a remote last minute, and I knew nobody else was going to show up. And I'm like, oh, can you let the most talented man in Dayton get a day off?
Right? Yeah.
And then I told him about the basketball game last night. I'm like, Wright State's having an alumni night at the basketball game. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to go watch that team lose another game? So
they did.
He called it.
Wright State falls to Akron last night, 66-53
or something like that.
48, I
was
think.
It?
Yeah.
I thought they got to 50. I don't know.
It was not good for the Raiders last night.
They struggled with that zone defense.
They were struggling. Their defense wasn't terrible. They just couldn't score.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on the broadcast last night. But welcome back to Keep It Real, everybody, on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you all are having a great week. Our next segment here is going to be the most popular baseball player in every U.S. state.
We got a lot to get into. Hour number 2 will be our L headlines of the day, which we have a really funny one about Jackson Mahomes. And as well as our college football confidence index, our bowl game confidence index. That's coming up at 2 o'clock. So to end the 1 o'clock hour here today, we're going to be doing this. Baseball Reference put out a map of the most popular player in every single state. And then we're also going to give our NFL picks either at the end of this hour or at the start of next hour. We'll figure it out. But let's get started with an easy one, Parker. The state of California. Who do you think is the most popular player in the state of California?
This one's easy. It's Ohtani.
Absolutely. And Shohei Ohtani is a very popular individual. He is the most popular player in here. Let me count really quick on air. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 states.
So almost half.
Almost half. Let's see if you can get 10 of them. You know California. Let's see if you can get 10 states that Shohei Ohtani is the most popular player in.
Arizona.
Yes.
Hawaii.
Yes.
Alaska.
No.
No? Okay.
We were going to get to Alaska because it's kind of a unique answer. So.
Okay.
So you still have 3, California, Arizona, and Hawaii.
Kentucky.
Kentucky, yes, that's 4. That's a weird one.
It is weird. You think it'd be Votto.
Right.
Florida?
Yes.
Okay. It's not Texas.
It is Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you. I thought Texas would be like Nolan Ryan,
or
Josh Hamilton,
or
something
Altuve
like
or something like that.
even
right.
Correa at this point.
Right.
Verlander.
Let's try some Midwestern farm states, if you will. Kansas.
No.
Okay. Colorado.
Colorado is a no.
Okay.
So you have 6, I believe. California, Arizona, Hawaii, Texas, Florida, Kentucky. You have 6.
Michigan.
Michigan is no.
Oh, I think I know Michigan's. Well, we're going to go with Nevada.
Yes, that's 7.
Okay.
Your best bet would be West Coast or East Coast.
Right. North Carolina.
Yes.
South Carolina.
Yes.
Okay. Georgia.
There you go. That's 10.
All right.
Some other states that have Shohei Ohtani as their favorite player: Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Arkansas, Louisiana, Illinois, Indiana, as well as Vermont, Massachusetts, and Delaware.
Huh.
Oh, Virginia. I'm sorry, not Delaware.
Okay.
But this is quizzing me on my geography.
Well,
I got to remember what state is what.
Yeah. Well, Delaware.
Because they don't label the states, if you can see on YouTube. They're not labeling the states.
Okay. Delaware has a square mileage of like 7. So
does Rhode Island.
right.
All right, so here's an interesting one. Colorado and Missouri. I'm sorry, not Missouri. Colorado and Kansas have the same player. It's a good player that plays right now, but it's not a player that you'd think of as super popular. Let's see if you can get him.
What team?
It's not a great team. So that's the hint I'll give you. If I give you the team, I think you'll get it.
Not a great team.
He's probably either the best player or the second best player on a not great team. He's been considered rumored to be traded for a few years.
Oh, man.
This is the state of Colorado and Kansas. He does not play in either of those states, believe it or not.
Really? I was going to guess Trevor Story.
Yeah, right. Or Arenado or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Is he play for a team on either coast?
No. Midwest.
Okay.
AL Central.
Oh, man. I was going to guess Yelich, but
no.
AL Central, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is he on the... Is he... Let me think about this. AL Central.
A team that has a lot of young talent, but is still probably about a year or two away from the playoffs.
I can't believe I'm blanking. Let me pull up the... I can't believe I'm blanking on AL Central teams. It's not baseball season, folks. You have to cut me some slack here. AL Central. Tigers?
No.
Okay.
Worse than the Tigers.
Worse?
Tigers are in a better spot right now, I'd say.
Okay. Worse than the Tigers.
They might be one of the better last place teams in the league.
Guardians.
No.
Why? No.
Kansas City Royals.
Royals? Merrifield?
Yep.
Really?
Whit Merrifield is the most popular player in Colorado and Kansas.
Wow. Kansas I can understand, but Colorado? Really?
And what's funny is Nolan Arenado, Rockies legend, is the most popular player in Wyoming.
That makes sense.
And that's the only state he's the most popular in.
Huh.
So I told you
one of the best third basemen of our generation
Absolutely.
is popular in the least populous
in Wyoming
state.
Right.
Yeah.
I told you that Joey Votto, I told you during the break, Joey Votto is the most popular player in 2 states.
Ohio.
And Iowa.
Iowa. Right. Okay.
Weird place to like Joey Votto. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Iowa fans, Joey Votto will be going out there for the Field of Dreams game next year.
Yeah.
That'll be Cubs and Reds, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's get to... Okay, this player is the most popular player in Michigan and New Mexico.
Miguel Cabrera.
There you go. Good
Okay.
job. This player is the most popular player in South Dakota and New York.
Judge. Jeter.
Jacob deGrom.
Really?
A Met is the king of New York.
Wow.
Who'd have thought?
Didn't see that coming.
Absolutely not. Here's a really weird one. And I'm going to look this up because I'm probably just ignorant, and this player probably grew up in this state, and that's why he's popular there. But from what I know about this player, no, he was born in Los Angeles. So this is just weird. This is the most popular player in the state of Alabama. Same Royals team, not Whit Merrifield.
Perez.
Nope. Very, very up and down player. A lot of potential. Has had maybe one really good year.
Jorge Soler.
Nope.
Damn.
I'll give you one more guess.
I don't know Royals baseball.
Neither do a lot of people.
Huh.
Think infield that isn't Merrifield. They've got three young infielders. Merrifield, Nicky Lopez, and this other player.
Man, his name's
Very fast. Usually he's top of the league in stolen bases.
His name's right in front of me. Who is it? I can't.
Adalberto Mondesi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it was something.
I wanted to
bizarre name like that.
I wanted to look it up because I'm like, Mondesi in Alabama. Maybe he grew up there. Now he grew up in L.A.
Huh.
So it's Alabama just likes Mondesi, I guess.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess Forrest Gump played at Alabama, so they must like guys that are fast. And
Yeah.
Adalberto Mondesi is one of the fastest players in baseball. So
Run, Mondesi, run.
Mississippi, this one makes a lot of sense. He's not the most popular player in Georgia, but he is a star in the Atlanta Braves.
Swanson.
Nope.
Acuna.
No.
Freeman.
Nope.
What? Charlie Morton?
No, this was his first really good year last year, but he was one of their top prospects for a while.
Oh, man.
He hit cleanup for him for most of the year.
Why am I blanking?
This happens way too often in sports media, folks, where people get exposed when they get trivia on air.
Well, we
and I know if you asked me the same questions, I wouldn't know.
We know it, but
right
when
you're put on the spot,
when this thing's in front of you and you're on the spot,
Yeah.
it's hard to think.
Yeah. So again, this is the Braves young star, hit cleanup for him for most of the year. I believe he was NLCS MVP. I'm not positive on that.
I know it. This is really bothering me right now. And this team won the World Series, folks.
They did.
Gosh. Who is it?
Austin Riley.
Oh! Dang it. Okay. All right.
Just a couple more here. Let's do some legends, shall we?
Sure.
Well, we'll do one last current player. This player you mentioned earlier, Christian Yelich.
Yes.
He's the most popular player in 2 different states. What states are they? One is easy, one is hard.
Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay.
You have mentioned the state already.
Alaska.
Yes.
Really?
Yep. Christian Yelich is the most popular player among the research scientists in Alaska.
He is the Last Frontier's most popular baseball player.
Absolutely. And then the final current player we will do here. Actually, we'll do 2 more because this is interesting.
This is fun. I like this.
This is fun. Albert Pujols is the most popular player in 3 different states, none of which he plays in right now. Can you try and guess them? One is closer to the East Coast. It borders Ohio. One is a state that he played in, and one is a state that borders the state that he played in.
Missouri.
Yes.
Illinois.
Good guess, but no, other side of Missouri.
Um,
Geography is on the putting on test here.
And I know geography too, which really bothers
I'm impressed
me.
with how well I remember states because I haven't been quizzed on them since like 7th grade.
I know my state capitals. I
don't know capitals anymore.
I don't know borders, which I do, but here.
So
I'm going to expose myself right here.
It's north of Kansas and south of South Dakota. They're in the Big Ten.
Nebraska.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
So Pujols is the most popular player in Missouri, Nebraska, and this other state in the Midwest that borders Ohio.
West Virginia.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and then the final one. This is a player that's a solid player, not great, has moments where he's pretty good, has moments where he's kind of underwhelming. Still very young, but he's the most popular player in New Hampshire, and he plays for the Boston Red Sox.
Bogarts?
No, it's not as good as Bogarts.
Okay.
It's going to be a name that surprises you. I'm going to look it up to see if he grew up there because I feel like that's the reason.
Is he a catcher?
No.
Okay.
No, this player grew up in Seattle and played college baseball at Arizona. But he is 26 years old. He hit .240 last year with 25 home runs. He didn't even start for them all the time after they traded for this player at the deadline, Kyle Schwarber.
Dahlbeck.
Yep. Bobby Dahlbeck is the most popular player in the state of New Hampshire.
Really?
That one surprised me, too.
Okay.
All right, so now let's get to a couple legends here. Barry Bonds is the most popular player in one state, and it might surprise you. Can you guess it?
West Coast?
No. Smack dab in the middle of the U.S., but it borders Canada.
Montana?
Good guess. Right to the right of Montana. Hank Aaron is the most popular player in Montana.
North Dakota?
Yep. Hank Aaron is the most popular player in Montana.
Really?
It's weird that they picked Ohtani over Hank Aaron or Freddie Freeman.
North Dakota is Barry Bonds.
Yep, and it's the only state that picked Barry Bonds.
Interesting.
And then our other legend that we'll hit on today before we do our NFL picks here, or start them at least. Shoeless Joe Jackson, of course, known for his role with the 1919 Black Sox. He is the most popular player in this state that is home to one of Morgan Mulcahy's favorate cities.
Tennessee.
There you go.
That was easy.
I know that one was easy.
That hint we gave it away right away.
I don't know how else to present Tennessee. But yeah, that was fun. Baseball Reference put that out this morning, and I thought that was kind of cool. So I
like those. We need to find more things like that.
Absolutely. We'll start our NFL picks here really quick. We'll finish them up at the top of the hour, and then we'll do our L's of the day, and then we'll get into college football. Tonight, Thursday Night Football, Chiefs and Chargers in Los Angeles. Chargers win this game. They tie for first place in the AFC West. Chiefs win this game. They're basically a lock to win this division. Who you got tonight in L.A.? I think I'm going to go with Herbert.
I think I am too. I like the fact that it's in L.A. Even though Kansas City, put up 48 points or whatever it was last week, I like Herbert in this one.
All right, Saturday. 2 games on Saturday this week. A little odd, but the Browns and the Vegas Raiders. Now, in most normal circumstances, I would pick the Browns in this game. But we don't know if Baker Mayfield's going to play. He probably isn't. So it's probably going to be Case Keenum. Bunch of other guys with COVID or on the injury list. I'm taking Vegas in the upset.
I am too. They got like 15 players out with COVID, including their head coach Stefanski
and their starting quarterback.
Yeah. I don't believe in Keenum. I'm going to go with Vegas.
And then our nightcap on Saturday night, the Patriots and the Colts at Lucas Oil. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
This is really hard. This is really hard. Both teams coming off bye weeks. Mac Jones has been great all year, and the Colts have not beaten the Patriots in Indianapolis in, I think, since the 2006 AFC Championship game. It's been that long. It's been 15 years. This is tough. I'm taking the Colts in the upset, and I'm not being biased here. I love the Colts, but I think that coming off that rout of Houston 2 weeks ago, they're coming off the bye week. They're going to be fresh. Prime time Saturday night game at Lucas Oil Stadium. I really wanted to go, but couldn't afford the tickets. I'm taking the Colts in the upset.
I'm taking the Colts too. I think the Patriots defense really flourishes in pass rush. and
the
Colts will be giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor quite a bit.
If you give it to Jonathan Taylor, you got a good shot to win any game.
So we got time for about 3 more here before we hit our legal ID. So let's do Cowboys-Giants in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The New York Football Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys. Giants are a mess, man. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Me too.
Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, battle of 2-11. The loser of this one might get the first overall pick if the Lions sneak out another win, Parker. But in this one, I think, like I said a couple days ago when we did our power rankings, I think Jacksonville's got more talent on the team. But Jacksonville's a dumpster fire right now. Give me Houston in the upset on the road.
I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Okay.
I think, with Urban Meyer being gone, I think this lifts a huge weight off of everybody's shoulders. I think Darrell Bevell's going to have this team ready to go. I'm taking the Jags.
All right. I lied. We have time for a few more. Titans and Steelers from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I hate this team more than I can even say. But I think they find a way to win one this week and get back into the division race. I'm taking the Steelers at home.
Man, this one's a tough one. I think that, I love Vrabel. Even though I don't like the Titans and Titans fans are annoying. I don't
know if I've ever met a Titans fan.
They're hard to come by, but they believe me, they are on Twitter and they are annoying. But
sound like Ravens fans.
I think Pittsburgh's struggling. I'm gonna take the Titans.
All right, we got time. I'm gonna get through. Let's see. Do we have? No, we do not have enough time. Oh no, we do. We have 4 games left in the 1:00 slate, so we'll get through all the rest of the 1:00 games. Jets and Dolphins. The Jets are bad. The Dolphins are red hot right now. Give me Tua. I'm taking the Dolphins at home. I think they get back to 500.
Go Fins.
And this is a fun one. This has been one of my harder ones to pick this week. The Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a big fan of Taylor Heineke like you are. I really wanted this Washington football team to challenge for a wild card spot. I don't know the status of Jalen Hurts this weekend. I'm going to look that up really quick.
Before you pick, I think Gardner Minshew will start, and I think the Eagles win this one.
Hurts was limited in practice yesterday. My pick is based on that. If Hurts plays, give me Washington. If Minshew starts, give me Philly at home.
That's fair. If Sirianni is smart, he'll start Minshew.
I'm with you.
Even if Hurts is healthy.
If Minshew plays, give me the Eagles at home.
Yeah.
Lions host the Arizona Cardinals. No DeAndre Hopkins for the rest of the regular season with that knee injury. Lions are not talent. I mean, the Lions are not bad where they're 1-11, but they're still not as good as the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals win this one pretty easily.
I do too.
And then our final 1:00 game of the weekend that we'll hit before the legal ID, the Carolina Panthers and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have an uphill climb to get into the playoffs now with a tough schedule at the end of the year. This is not one of those tough games. The Bills win at home.
I do too. I think they win this one. Carolina's struggling, and Buffalo needs a win to get back in the playoff race. So give me the Bills.
We still got a lot of fun matchups to get into on the other side of the break. The Bengals head to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Rams take on the Seahawks. And Sunday football, another just absolutely awesome matchup between the Ravens and the Green Bay Packers. So we'll do our rest of the NFL predictions, plus our funny headlines of the day when we come back right here on Keep It Real. Don't go anywhere. The 2:00 hour starts in just a few minutes.
What's going on? It's Kev Nash from Hot 102.9 and 1410 Wing AM. And did I mention I'm a WWSU alum? You're hanging out with my guys, Testa and Neal, as they keep it real right here on Dayton's Right Choice.
I won't be back in there till Sunday. But welcome back to Keep It Real right here on WWSU 106.8. Yeah, whatever. I've done worse in the last 24 hours. But
that was a good bit yesterday.
That was a good bit yesterday. It was a lot of fun last night at the Wright State basketball game. If you know, you know.
That's not what I was talking about. But
okay.
I was referencing your uncle's sausage take.
That was funny
the
too.
Justin Kinner show.
That was funny too.
But welcome back to Keep It Real, everybody. We're going to get back into our NFL picks from this past weekend. Finish up the Thursday, Saturday, and 1:00 slate on Sunday. Denver and the Bengals. I think the Bengals win this one in Denver.
I do too. I like Denver's defense a lot, and the Bengals always struggle when they go to Mile High. I just think that that West Coast trip is kind of hard. But I think Joe Burrow and the guys come ready to play after losing 2 consecutive games. I really think that the loser of this game has a really tough time making the playoffs, but I think at the end of the day, the Bengals are the better football team, and I take them by a touchdown.
49ers, Falcons in Santa Clara at
Niners look
Levi's
good right now.
Stadium. Niners look great. Atlanta has struggled all year. I don't know why I said Atlantis. Maybe I need a vacation to Atlantis, but I like
I might be down for that.
right. WWSU cruise, here we come.
Christmas in Atlantis.
Right, but I like the Niners in this one.
I do too. Deebo Samuel is one of the best weapons in the NFL right now. Brandon Ayuk's also a really good young receiver. Elijah Mitchell should be back this week. Jimmy Garoppolo's an above-average quarterback, and that defense led by Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, really solid. I like the Niners in this one by 2 touchdowns.
Rams, Seattle. Rams look good. Seattle doesn't. Plain and simple right there.
Yep.
I like the Rams by at least 2 touchdowns here.
If this game was in Seattle, I'd give the Seahawks more of a fighter's chance. But unfortunately, right now, this team is just Russell Wilson and a bunch of question marks. And a lot of those questions have been answered, and they're not the answer that the Seahawks wanted. So I like the Rams in this one as well. I think the Rams become the 4th team in the league to get to 10 wins.
Packers, Ravens in Baltimore. Packers look good. I like the Pack in this one.
Yeah, this one's a little tougher than I thought it would be a couple days ago because it sounds like Lamar's going to play. I thought when Lamar got carted off last weekend, I really thought it was a bad high ankle sprain, and I thought we might not see him until the playoffs.
Yeah.
But he practiced yesterday. I believe he's practicing again today. Lamar should be playing, but he definitely won't be 100%. I like the Pack in this one, but I think Lamar keeps it close.
Saints, Buccaneers. Taysom Hill gets the start at quarterback, I believe. They go on the road to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. Bucks are the Bucks. I like the Bucks here.
I've tried so hard my entire life to voodoo magic Tom Brady into failure by always picking against Tom Brady and always saying that Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff. I stopped trying that tactic a few years ago. Tom's going to Tom. I like the Bucks.
Monday night game, Minnesota and Chicago at Soldier Field.
This is such a lame Monday night football game.
Kirk Cousins versus Justin Fields.
I will admit, Fields looked really good last weekend against the Packers. He threw that one pick 6, but he's a rookie. Rookies make mistakes like that. But overall, like I said, other than Mac Jones, because Mac Jones has been put in a really good position, but compared to Lawrence and Wilson and Lance, who we haven't really seen a ton of, I think Justin Fields looks like the second best quarterback in the draft so far.
Yeah, I do too. I like the Vikings in this one, though. I think Kirk Cousins is playing well. They beat the Steelers a couple weeks back. I like the Vikings here.
I know how up and down Minnesota's been all year, but I still buy into them to kind of sneak into that 6 or 7 spot in the playoffs. So I like the Vikings in this one too. I think the Bears are just kind of, stumbling along until they get to the end of the season. But if we look at the playoff picture right now really quick, we have, let me see. I don't know what the matchups look like right now, but right now in the AFC, it is Patriots, obviously, with the 1, Titans 2, Chiefs 3, Ravens 4, Chargers 5, Colts 6, Bills 7, and then right outside the Browns, Bengals, and Broncos. I'd like to think, I don't know if the Bills make the playoffs at this point because their schedule at the end of the year is really tough. But we'll see. Obviously, Browns, Bengals, even Pittsburgh still have a shot to win the North, so we could still have a fight for the 4 seed. But the NFC is really interesting. I think that top 5 is pretty set. Packers, Bucks, Cardinals, Cowboys, Rams. I think the Niners get in, but I don't think Washington hangs on to that last spot. My bet would be on Minnesota, but the Eagles are right there as well.
Big slate in the NFL this weekend for sure. We're going to get to our funny news headlines of the day.
Yep.
So let me go through and see if I have anything here.
And while you search, I'll get the Jackson Mahomes headline out here. But Jackson Mahomes went to a bar in Kansas City, apparently, either yesterday or the day before. This bar is known as I think it's STO. I gotta double check that, but yes, it's called this STO bar and cocktail in Kansas City, Missouri. Obviously, their social media analytics have just skyrocketed in the last 24 hours. But Jackson Mahomes apparently was complaining on TikTok about how this place wasn't seating him and his large group of friends because of COVID protocols and because they made him wait, like most normal people have to wait for a table, Parker. We've had to wait for a table before, right?
Who hasn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're famous.
So this
which
is
Jackson Mahomes isn't.
Yeah, you're right. He's the brother of a famous person.
Right.
If he brought Pat to dinner with him, he might have gotten a table.
Right. It's like me being related to, I don't know.
It's like me being related to Mark Neal.
Yeah.
I'm not the famous one here.
Yeah, it's like me being
the czar of Dayton.
Right. It's like me being related to, I don't know, Frank Reich. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, hey, Frank Reich's my second cousin's husband. That's not going to happen.
Cool.
It's
Can
like,
I meet him?
Congratulations. You still
Can I meet him? I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah, it's like, great. Congratulations. By the way, I'm not related to Frank Reich, by the way.
One of the greatest quotes I ever saw regarding Jackson Mahomes, and a lot of other people, I think, was he was born on third base and assumed he hit a triple. And I think that's pretty dead on accurate. But this is the statement that STO Bar and Cocktail put out to Jackson Mahomes. Dear Jackson Mahomes, we are sorry that we set boundaries that you tried to ignore. Oftentimes, people with unearned status and a sense of entitlement think they are above the rules and will lash out at the employee enforcing them. We are sorry we could not seat your very large group. As you probably saw, our bar is very small. We are sorry that you have the reach that you do, or at least that you think you do, and that instead of using it for something positive, you decide to use it to try and crush a small business. We survived a global pandemic. We'll survive your ego. We are sorry you didn't reach out to us first before taking to social media, but then again, that is an expectation we would have from a mature and rational person, not someone who pours water on fans and dances on the memorials of tragically lost people for TikTok clout. We have not been fortunate enough to be born into a much more talented and much more famous family, but we would like to think that if we did have that much luck, we would use our influence in more responsible ways. We hope our apology finds you well.
Man.
Brutal. I love that. That's funny. That's so petty, but that's so funny.
So...
And as you can imagine, Parker, STO's interactions on social media and their business in the last 2 days or so has just been through the roof.
I would think.
I saw so many people joke on Twitter today that if I'm ever in Kansas City, I'm hitting that place up.
Right. So I'm about to post on Twitter. I did create a group for this ESPN college football bowl game pick thing.
Awesome, yeah.
So if you want to play along with us,
sure.
I know Shea's going to jump into this here real quickly. But if you want to play along with us, go to my Twitter page at Parker Testa, and you can jump in our group right there. It is public, so there's no password or anything like that.
Right.
You can just jump in for us.
Yeah, and that should be a lot of fun. Like I said, Parker and I will be keeping track of how we do against each other, but we can also keep a track with how we do against all of you. Some other odd headlines that I found. How about this one, Parker? A giant panda briefly escapes at the Beijing Zoo. Now, I mean, we could make an entire segment of funny headlines out of Urban Meyer, but I don't think that would be as fun. A giant panda...
Might be fun.
It might be fun. A giant panda escaped from its enclosure at the Beijing Zoo, but was lured back to a secure area. The zoo said in a post that a naughty male panda named Menglin climbed over a 6-foot-tall fence surrounding a panda enclosure on Wednesday. His escape attempt was caught on camera, and they said that the panda made it about a half mile away to a nearby sports field. He just wanted to watch sports. I'm with him.
Yeah.
So shout out to Menglin the panda.
So that group is live now on my Twitter page. So go to my Twitter page at Parker Testa, and that'll take you right there. You can join the group. We'll keep along. We'll keep track of how each of us do.
Yep.
We'll keep track of how, we'll keep track of how you all do if you decide to join us along. My mom just sent me something funny about Jackson Mahomes that I can't say on the air. But we'll talk about it in the break. But,
oh, yay.
Yeah. So,
we should all hit up STO Bar and Cocktail.
Right. Hey, STO sponsor the show.
Right. Love to try your cocktails.
Right. But so we're going to get into, actually, I do have a funny headline here. Delaware highway exit sign misspells the name of the state.
Oh my gosh. That's like what we saw with the Mississippi headline.
Right, yeah. A highway sign that recently went up in Delaware was notably missing a letter in the state's name. The New Wilmington exit on Interstate 95 should have said Delaware Avenue, but was misspelled as Delaware without the A. The News Journal reports. So, welcome to the state of Delaware, where you can drive on Delaware Avenue.
There you go. This is my final one of the day, and it's another weird world record. Minnesota teens 4-inch mouth gap recaptures the Guinness World Record. A Minnesota teenager's big mouth recaptured a Guinness World Record when his gap was measured at 4 inches. Isaac Johnson initially earned the record in 2019 when he was 14 at 3.67 inches, but he lost it to a Pennsylvania teen just a few months later. He recaptured the record after it was measured at a full 4 inches. He said, "I guess it just grew over time as I grew. Maybe opening my mouth stretches it out. It's been an amazing, unforgettable experience that I'm lucky to just have naturally a big mouth." And he has been invited to appear on a TV show about Guinness World Record holders next year in Italy.
4 inches.
They keep track of everything, man.
So
odd.
Can you open your mouth 4 inches wide and not get lockjaw is my question.
I don't know.
Maybe he has it. He has had it and just is immune.
I don't know, man.
But, all right, this is my final one of the day. In Denmark, a snowstorm causes people to take shelter overnight in an IKEA. Mm-hmm. In northern Denmark, an IKEA showroom turned to a vast bedroom. 6 customers and about 24 employees were stranded by a snowstorm and spent the night in the store, sleeping in the beds that are usually on show. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's any place that I would want to take cover in during like a snowstorm or some sort of lockdown of some sort, it's in an IKEA. I mean, you can go to bed, you can do your work in their furniture department and their office department. I mean, they got food there. They got some damn good meatballs at IKEA.
They do.
So, I mean, that's like the perfect place. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into our Capital One Bowl Mania from ESPN.com here.
Yep.
First game, Middle Tennessee and Toledo.
So for this one, I'm going to go with the Toledo Rockets, which are the favorites for this game for 2 reasons. One, I think that the MAC is a more battle-tested conference than Conference USA. I think we saw more MAC teams get into bowl games this year. And 2, I just like the overall consistency of the Toledo Rockets more than I like the consistency of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. They have more passing yards. They have more rushing yards. They have more total yards, more points per game, a better defense in terms of points allowed per game. And if we look at the last few games for each team, for Middle Tennessee State, we see big wins like 35-10, 50-10, but we also see 48-21 loss, 24-17 loss. It's a little bit of an inconsistent thing. Toledo, in all 5 of their last 5 games, have put up 30-plus points. Give me the Rockets, and I'm not going to put a ton of points down on this, but I'll put a decent amount of points down on this. I'm going to say 18 right off the jump.
All right, I'm going to go with 10.
Okay.
I'm going to take Toledo as well, but I'm going to go with 10. I wish you could just put in a value and not have to move it around.
I know. I hate how they preset the games.
I know. But
I wish you could just.
It's the way it is. I'm going to go, all right, Northern Illinois, Coastal Carolina. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, shout out to Abby Pritchard, will take on the Northern Illinois Huskies, I believe is their mascot. 10-2 to Coastal Carolina. NIU is 9-4.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Chanticleers and put 5 on it.
I am too. I know I just talked about this is the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl, by the way. I know I talked, this is on Friday night at 6, but I just talked about how I liked the MAC and how I thought it was a battle-tested conference. It is compared to Conference USA, but a step above that is the Sun Belt. And I think the big difference in this game is going to be Rocky Lombardi versus Grayson McCall, the 2 quarterbacks for these 2 programs. Rocky Lombardi has, I believe, 14 turnovers this year, 8 interceptions, 6 fumbles. Grayson McCall has only 3 interceptions this year and almost 2,600 yards passing. I just have more faith in Grayson McCall, and I have more faith in Coastal Carolina. I'm going to put 8 points on it.
Okay. Appalachian State, Western Kentucky. I'm taking App State here. I'm going to put 12 on it.
Okay. I like that you're kind of saving your big point totals here. App State is my pick in this game as well. This is the Boca Raton Bowl. I just really think that the top 3 teams in the Sun Belt this year, App State, Coastal Carolina, and Louisiana Lafayette, were all really, really good. Big fan of the quarterback at App State, Chase Bryce, who's out of Grayson, Georgia. But Don't sleep on Bailey Zapp. Bailey Zapp this
Clemson
year.
transfer is Chase Bryce.
And don't sleep on Bailey Zapp, Parker. If Western Kentucky wins this game, it's going to be because of Bailey Zapp. 5,500 yards and 56 touchdowns this year. He's got a shot to break Burrow's passing touchdown record if he has a good game here in the Boca Raton Bowl. Unfortunately, Western Kentucky's defense is nowhere near as good as App State's defense, and I think App State's offense can hang with Western Kentucky's offense. So I'm going to take the Mountaineers, but this will be my lowest point total. I'm only putting 6 points on it.
All right. Next up is Jackson State.
Fighting prime times.
Absolutely. Jackson State, South Carolina State. I'm taking the fighting primes here. I'm going to put 20 on it.
Yeah, I really like this. I really like this Jackson State team. They're clicking right now on both sides of the ball. Really good defensive team. They've only allowed 19, 21, 17, 10, and 10 in their last 5 games. South Carolina State, as you can tell by their 6-5 record, a little bit up and down. Their quarterback has 10 interceptions on the season. And then obviously Shedeur Sanders, the son of primetime, is the freshman quarterback for Jackson State. I think this team just comes into this game prepared and the stronger team. I'm going to put 20 points on it as well.
All right. This next one here is...
I believe this is the Vegas Bowl, isn't it? No, this is New Mexico Bowl. My apologies.
Fresno State, UTEP.
And this is coming up Saturday afternoon at 2:15. This is... I'm starting to realize, Parker, that I lean on the team that I feel like has the better quarterback because I think quarterbacks win bowl games. Now, when we get into some of these bigger bowl games, we're going to have to pay attention on who opted out because like guys like Garrett Wilson at Ohio State, they might not be playing in that game. But this one, another one very similar to the Northern Illinois Coastal Carolina game. Talented kid is Gavin Hardison, the sophomore. But he had 12 interceptions this year, a quarterback rating that was 78th in the country. UTEP is very defensive-minded as well as running the football. But I think Fresno can run the football just as well as UTEP, and their defense is about identical as well. I just think at the end of the day, the Fresno has the better offense, and it's because of their quarterback, the senior, Jake Haener. 32 touchdowns this year, almost 4,000 yards, which was top 10 in college football. I'm going to take Fresno State, and I think I'm going to put 14 on it.
Yeah, I like Fresno State as well. I'll put 13 on it. Okay, so next up we have BYU UAB. BYU is ranked 13th in the nation. UAB is a strong program.
They are.
But I like BYU here. This is going to be the highest point total I put on it. I'm going to put about 28 on it.
28. All right. I like the BYU Cougars in this one as well. I think that if UAB wants to win this football game, they're going to need their defense to step up. Their defense has been strong in the early points of the year. They're very good at rush defense. They only allow about 100 yards a game on the ground, which in college football is really impressive. But the problem is they still give up a lot of points. They gave up 30 to Rice, 38 to Louisiana Tech. They gave up only 14 to Marshall, but 34 to UTSA and 25 to UTEP. BYU is none of those teams that they played in those last 5 games. I like the Cougars in this one, and really this is going to be one of my safer picks as well. I'm going to put a full 33 on it. Sounds like we're betting, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't bet ever.
I don't have the money to bet.
I don't,
or
right,
the brain.
Right. I'm not smart enough to bet. I don't know what point spread. I know what a point spread means, but I don't know how to bet against stuff. And
I need to learn how to do parlays.
Yeah.
Because apparently a lot of people win money on parlays.
Yeah, I need to learn that, but then again, I don't have the money to gamble.
Right.
So,
and the little money we do have, we'd burn it all gambling.
Right. Gambling or Chipotle. But
whatever.
So
Liberty and Eastern Michigan is our next game. That's coming up on Saturday as well. That'll be Saturday at 5:45 in the Lending Tree Bowl. We talked about it on Tuesday. I think this is a stupid name for a bowl game. But I really like Malik Willis, Parker, one of the best NFL prospects at the quarterback position in this year's draft. 800 rushing yards on the year, 2,600 passing yards. Ben Bryant has been solid for Eastern Michigan this year. The UC transfer was formerly Desmond Ritter's backup quarterback. I think this will be a pretty close game, but at the end of the day, I don't think Eastern Michigan's defense is strong enough to slow down Malik Willis. So I'm gonna take the Liberty Eagles. I think it is. Is it Eagles or are they the Flames? I think they're the Eagles, right? They used to be the Liberty Flames, but I think they're the Eagles now. Oh, they are still the Flames. I'm sorry, I got confused because they have that bird. But I'm going to take Liberty, the Liberty Flames, and I'm going to put 6 on it.
Okay. I am going to take Liberty also. I like how Liberty's been playing all year long. They have a talented team. I'm going to put 7 on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Our next game, Parker, is the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Is that a new one? It's got to be a new one.
Apparently, yeah.
The Jimmy Kimmel. Imagine telling your team that you're playing in the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. But it features the Utah State Aggies going up against the
Fighting Kimmels.
Fighting Kimmels. There you go. This should be a fun offensive shootout, Parker, because this is the Utah State Aggies and the Oregon State Beavers. Both of these teams average over 30 points a game and over 430 yards of offense. Both of these defenses are not very good. So this should be a shootout. Oregon State is coming off of a close loss to Oregon, but they have impressive wins this year against Arizona State, against Stanford. I think but Utah State's defense has been more consistent over the last 5 games, 13-10, 17-13. They did give up 44 to Wyoming. My difference in this one, I know I have been picking the better quarterback, which Utah State has the better quarterback. But for this one, I'm going to bet on the team that played in the tougher conference. I'm going to pick Oregon State, and I'm going to put probably not a ton of points on it here because I think this is going to be a pretty good game, but I'll put 4 points on it.
I'm taking Utah State.
Okay.
I think they're going to play well. I like their quarterback. I'm going to put 6 on it. Excuse me. I'll put 8 on it.
Okay. App State and Western Kentucky play in the Boca Raton. Oh, we already did that one. I'm sorry. It came back down to the bottom for me because of my point total thing.
Gotcha.
So, gotcha. We'll skip that one. That's something I'm going to have to get used to because, like you said, they put like assigned point totals on all of them already. So, okay. Our next one then is Louisiana Lafayette, the winners of the Sun Belt, and they take on the Marshall Thundering Herd in this game in the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Why did I say it like that? New Orleans Bowl. New Orleans. I think I tried to combine them and I said like New Orleans, and it was weird.
Pronunciation.
Parker, home field advantage doesn't exist very often in bowl games, but in this one it does. This is being played in New Orleans. Louisiana Raging Cajuns are going to get to play in front of their home fans. Marshall has a great offense under Doc Holliday. Really like that team, but their defense is not great, especially with their rushing defense. So I expect a big game out of Chris Smith, their sophomore running back, who I think is very, very strong. He's one of those like Maurice Jones-Drew types, kind of like the small little bowling ball. But I'm going to go with the Raging Cajuns in this one. I think they won the Sun Belt for a reason. I think they win this one, and I'm going to put a pretty decent 13 points on it.
So I have the Raging Cajuns as well, and I'm going to put 23 on it.
23. All right. You're buying into Louisiana Lafayette. I like it. All right. Our next game features Tulsa and Old Dominion. The Old Dominion Monarchs against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. In this game, Tulsa has maybe the most aggressive quarterback in college football, Parker, in Davis Brin. He had 16 interceptions this year and a quarterback rating that was 52.8, which is not good. But I watched this Tulsa team come to Cincinnati at Nippert a couple weeks ago. They lost 28-20. I know what this team is capable of, and I've got them winning the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I'm going to put 7 points on it. Give me the Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
I like Tulsa as well. I think they're a strong team. I like the way they played against UC. I'm gonna put 9 on it. Excuse me.
This is a tweet from Reddit.
I'll put 10 on it.
This is a tweet from Reddit College Football, by the way, before we get to the next bowl game. Just start mentally preparing yourself for new Alabama offensive coordinator Urban Meyer.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
The Nick Saban Rehabilitation Clinic.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Our next game is going to be between Kent State and Wyoming. And this is in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Parker, this one's,
I think, the hardest one we've done so far.
It is, because I think Wyoming's the more battle-tested team. They have a very impressive win against Utah State. But I see a lot of inconsistency on this list, Parker, in their last 5 games. Tough loss to Hawaii at home. Tough loss to Boise State. beat the brakes off of Utah State, which looks impressive. I know what I'm getting out of Kent State. It's one of the worst defenses that we'll see in bowl season, but it's one of the best offenses. And Dustin Crum, who's going to be playing on Sundays, I don't know if that'll be as a starter or as a backup. They're not favored to win this game, but I think I'm going to pick them to win this game. I'm only going to put 3 points on it, but I'm going to take the Golden Flashes of Kent State.
Yeah, I am also. I'm gonna take Kent State as well. As I write this down here. I like the Golden Flashes. They got Dustin Crum's a talented player. I'm gonna take Kent State. I'll put 4 on it.
Now this is a game right here. San Diego State and UTSA. The Road Runners, one of the best stories in college football, went 12-1 this year. And this is in the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl, by the way. But they take on the San Diego State Aztecs. Parker, I'm confused on how the Aztecs are good. I mean, I know that their defense is very, very strong. Maybe the best rush defense in the country, Parker. They only gave up 77 rushing yards a game. But you look at their stats on the season, their quarterback has 9 touchdowns and a hair over 1,000 yards. Their running back didn't get 1,000 yards. Their top receiver didn't even get to 500. So this San Diego State offense concerns me. And even though their rush defense was maybe the best in college football, I love Sincere McCormick, which, by the way, is an elite name. Sincere McCormick. Junior running back for the Aztecs, junior running back for the Roadrunners, ran for 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns this year. I think the dream season ends with a happy ending. I've got the Roadrunners, and I'm going to put 10 points on it.
I got the Aztecs here. I'm going to put 8 on it. I think defense wins out.
All right. Missouri and Army. For this one, the Army Black Knights take on the Missouri Tigers out of the SEC. Now, we know Army's not going to throw the ball. So for this one, it comes down to, can Missouri stop Army's triple option? Parker, if you look at the football power index, this is the closest game we've done so far. They give Army a 50.9% chance of winning and Missouri a 49.1% chance of winning. So they think this is going to be a close game, and I do too. This comes on the 22nd at 8 o'clock. It's the Armed Forces Bowl. Army's got a great rushing game, as we know. Missouri's defense leaves a lot to be desired, especially in the rushing department, 230 yards per game on the ground. I think this is a great matchup for the Black Knights. Big fan of Connor Bazelak, went to Alter High School right down the road in Kettering. But I'm going to go with the Black Knights of Army, and I'm going to put 17 points on it.
I'm going with the Black Knights as well. I think Connor Bazelak is a great player, has played well at Missouri all year. But I'm going with the Black Knights with 13.
All right. North Texas, Miami of Ohio is our next game, and this is the Frisco Football Classic. Is there 2 bowl games in Frisco? What the heck? That's odd. Whatever.
Strange.
North Texas and Miami. We've got another showdown of the MAC against, I believe this is Conference USA, right? I believe that North Texas plays in Conference USA.
I think they do.
Not sure. I think they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. They finished 3rd in Conference USA West. So I'm going to pick the Red Hawks in this game because I feel like North Texas is too one-dimensional for me, to feel good about them. DeAndre Torrey is a heck of a player. 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. He is the North Texas offense. But Parker, you look at these teams side by side. North Texas runs for about 250 yards a game, and only under 200 yards through the air. Miami throws for about 280 a game and can run still for almost 150. Miami's defense on the ground is a little bit better as well. Should be a really close game, but I'm going to buy into the little brother of Blaine Gabbert. That's Brett Gabbert, and I'm going to take the Red Hawks in this game. I think they get it done, and I'm going to put 9 points on it.
I got the Mean Green here. I think I like the way they play. They're a solid team. Miami is very versatile, but I got the North Texas Mean Green here. I'll put 15 down.
All right. UCF and Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl presented by Union Home Mortgage. It's the battle for Florida, and it's a battle between 2 mediocre teams in Florida. But unfortunately, UCF, Florida, Miami, and Florida State are all terrible right now. So UCF still might be the best team in Florida at 8-4, which is wild. Parker, Dylan Gabriel, of course, transferred out. So we're going to see Mikey Keene, the freshman out of Chandler, Arizona, be the quarterback for the Knights in this game. He's going to go up against Emory Jones, who had an up-and-down year for the Gators. Gators are going through a lot of coaching overflow here. I think the Gators have the better offense. I love Jacob Copeland. I think Emory Jones is a heck of a player. But I'm going to take the Knights. It's weird for me to pick an American team over an SEC team, but I'm going to pick the Knights. I'm not going to put a ton on it, though, only 2 points.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. This one's tough. Florida is normally a good team. I'm going to take the Knights as well. I'm going to put 3 down on it.
All right. My Memphis and Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl. Hawaii has maybe my favorite player in college football name-wise, Parker. Their running back, freshman, only ran for about 600 yards this year. His name's Day Hunter. Would you not feel comfortable giving the ball off to a guy named Day Hunter? Because I would.
So would I.
But I think this Memphis team is really solid. I don't know why Hawaii is projected to win this game. I think Memphis has the better defense and the better offense. And I think they played in the tougher conference. A big win over SMU. A win over they were a little inconsistent at times, but I think they get it done against Hawaii, and I'm reasonably confident in that. I'm going to put 24 points on it.
Yeah, I think Memphis wins as well. I'm going to put 19 down. Excuse me, I already put 19 on one.
You're smart for writing it down. I have to try and remember which games we've done.
We'll put a solid 20 on it. Memphis by 20.
We did the yes, we did. Okay. You're smart for writing them down because I'm trying to remember which games we've done now. Georgia State and Ball State is next here, and it's the Tax Act Camellia Bowl, which is a bowl game that I had never heard of until Tuesday. Ball State, both of these teams don't throw the ball a ton. Georgia State is much better on the ground, and then both teams have about an equal defense. Georgia State's favored to win this game, and as much as I want to pick the Ball State, Cardinals, we have some friends of the show that attend and are alum of Ball State. Georgia State's won 4 of their last 5 heading into this game, with their only loss being a 4-point loss to a really good Louisiana Lafayette team. I think Georgia State's just playing better football right now, so give me the Panthers in this one. I'm going to put 17 points on it.
Chirp, chirp, baby. I'm going with the Cardinals here.
Respect.
I am not I don't have the utmost confidence in this, though. I'm going to put 5 on it.
Fair enough. West Virginia and Nevada go head-to-head in the Quick Lane Bowl. This is on the 27th at 11 a.m. Who wants to play football at 11 a.m.?
I don't.
Not me. I don't even want to watch football at 11 a.m., let alone play. Parker, I think this one comes down to, I think these teams are very equal on offense and on defense. I think this one comes down to really, I don't know. This is a tough one. I think it comes down to quarterback play. I think both of these teams have had really good moments this year. I was very impressed with Western Michigan's big win over Northern Illinois on the road the last week of the season. But we've seen Nevada beat up on Colorado State. We saw them lose by 2 to San Diego State, a very solid team. We saw them beat UNLV. We saw them beat San Jose State. And I think that I personally believe that they have the better quarterback in the junior Carson Strong, who finished 6th in the country in yards, 6th in the country in touchdowns, only threw 8 picks. So when it's this close, I tend to side with the better quarterback. I believe that's Carson Strong in the Nevada Wolfpack. So give me the Wolfpack. I'm going to put 12 points on it.
I'm taking Western Michigan here. Nevada's offense is very good, but I'm taking Western Michigan with 11 points.
All right, Western Michigan. I like it. I like it a lot. Our next game is East Carolina and Boston College, and this is the Military Bowl. Now, this is one that I might pick a little unconventionally because I'm very concerned by Ball State's offense. I don't think it's very good. Their quarterback has more picks than touchdowns. Their running back barely got to 1,000 yards.
You talking about BC?
Yes.
Okay.
Their running back barely got to 1,000 yards. They have a good receiver in Zay Flowers. Like him a lot. He's a little undersized at 5'10". So I think Eastern Carolina has the better offense. But I think Boston College's tough games in the ACC really shine through in this one. I think East Carolina got beat up by Cincinnati, and I don't know if they recover from that fully. So I'm going to take the Eagles in this one, and I'm going to, because I have to start making some bigger picks, I'm going to put 27 on it.
I'm taking the Eagles as well. I'm going to put 24 down on it.
All right, Houston and Auburn. We're starting to get into some good games here. The Birmingham Bowl between the Houston Cougars and the Auburn Tigers. Bo Nix, I believe, is out for this game, so I don't know why they show him as their passing leader. But Tank Bigsby's a really good running back. Unfortunately, he did not land in bounds, or they would have beaten Alabama, and they would be 7-5 heading into this game. But whatever. I'll tell you what, though, Parker. I watched the American Conference Championship game. I know that losing to Alabama in quadruple overtime looks good, but I watched the American Conference Championship game. Cincinnati played out of their minds that night, but this Houston team is really good with Clayton Tune. I really like Noah Dell. Nathaniel Dell, their young wide receiver. They get him involved a lot, both in the backfield and on like little short screens. He gets a lot of touches, hence why he has 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. Alton McCaskill's a really good young running back, and this defense really does a good job of getting to the quarterback. I'm taking the Cougars in this one, and I feel semi-confident about it. I'm going to put 30 on it.
Okay.
Especially with Bo Nix out.
I lost my spot. Where were we?
Auburn and Houston.
Gotcha. I like Houston also. I'm going to put a pretty substantial amount on it.
I might put more than 30 on it with Bo Nix out. I might put 35 on it.
I'm gonna do exactly that. We'll put 35 down.
I believe in the Cougars, man. All right, our next game here, Parker, is the Air Force Falcons and the Louisville Cardinals. And this will be a good one here, I believe, in the First Responder Bowl. Malik Cunningham did not have the year we were kind of hoping for, under 3,000 yards passing. He did have almost 1,000 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns. But this is another team that really struggles on defense, Parker. And are they going to be able to stop the Air Force rushing attack that averaged 341 yards a game? I think they do, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it. I'm putting 4 points down on Louisville.
Okay.
And it's only because I like Malik Cunningham. That's really the sole reason why I'm picking Louisville.
I'm going Air Force. I'm going to put... let's see. I'm going to put 26 on Air Force.
26. All right. Mississippi State and Texas Tech. Texas Tech is playing a backup quarterback in this one, Parker, and their defense has struggled all year, and their offense hasn't been the Texas Tech offense that we're really used to seeing. Will Rogers is a stud. 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, both of those numbers second in the country in yards, ninth in the country in touchdowns. He's just a sophomore. He's only going to get better. I really like Will Rogers. I really like this Mississippi State Bulldogs team. I think they have a solid defense as well. I'm going to pick them in this game, and really, this is going to be one of my more confident picks. Put me down for 42.
What game is this? I'm sorry.
This is Mississippi State and Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl.
Okay. I like Mississippi State as well. I'm going to put 38.
38. All right. UCLA, NC State, Holiday Bowl in San Diego. The Wolfpack have another really talented quarterback in Devin Leary, who finished 9th in the country in touchdowns, 13th in the country in yards, the sophomore out of Sicklerville, New Jersey. But I think that UCLA brings the more dynamic offense to the table with Zach Charbonnet running the ball out of the backfield, as well as Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. I think that NC State, while they have the better defense, I think UCLA benefits from playing semi-close to home. I'm going to take the Bruins in a little bit of a shocker. I'm going to put it down for 15 points.
Okay. I'm taking the Wolfpack. Let's see. We'll put the Wolf Pack down. Let's see, I'm running out of low numbers.
Yeah.
We'll put the Wolf Pack down for. I don't think I've done this yet. And if I did, yeah, we'll put the Wolf Pack down for 16.
All right. Our next game is Minnesota and West Virginia. Big 10 versus Big 12 in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Tanner Morgan did not have a great year for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, but we know what Tanner Morgan is capable. I love Chris Ottman-Bell, and I love Kai Thomas, their running back, as well. I think Minnesota has a much better defense than the Mountaineers, and I don't think their offense is that far off. I also think that Minnesota's coming into this game with momentum, Parker. Close loss to Iowa on the road. So hard to win in the Kinnick, or I think it's Kinnick, whatever it's called, in Iowa Stadium, Hawkeye Field, whatever you want to call it. It's tough to win in Iowa. But a close loss there, and then they beat up Iowa, and then they beat Wisconsin by 10 on Senior Day. I think the Gophers get this one done. I'm semi-confident in it. Give me 27 points on Minnesota.
Yeah, I like the Gophers as well. We're gonna put down 22 on the Gophers.
All right. Virginia and SMU, another American team that makes it to a decent bowl game. This is the Fenway Bowl, Parker, at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, of course. Virginia's got a great quarterback in Brennan Armstrong. He threw for 4,400 yards, 31 touchdowns. But people are quick to forget about the Texas A&M transfer for SMU, Tanner Mordecai, who also had almost 4,000 yards and 39 touchdowns in this game. I think the difference comes in the running game, Parker. Virginia does not run the ball very well. Almost all of their offense goes through Brennan Armstrong. SMU has a separate weapon in Trey Siggers, as well as a really talented receiver in Danny Gray that also comes out of the backfield on jet sweeps and stuff like that. The Virginia defense concerns me quite a bit. They gave up almost 470 yards per game. Maybe I'm biased because I was watching a lot of Bearcat football the second half of the season, but I really like these American teams. I think they have a good bowl season. I'm putting 33 points on the Mustangs.
I got the Mustangs as well over Virginia with 27.
All right. Maryland and Va Tech. Va Tech just lost to the Dayton Flyers in basketball over the weekend, but in football, they take on the Maryland Terrapins in the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. What a day. You get to watch a game at Fenway and then watch a game at Yankee Stadium right after. But even in the offseason, you can't get away from Yankees Red Sox.
Right?
I really like Maryland's potential on offense, Parker, with the younger brother of Tua, of course, Tuila, or whatever his name it is. I forget how you pronounce it. But originally started at Alabama, transferred to Maryland. He had a solid year, 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns. I think they have the better offense, Parker. But at the same time, I think that Braxton Burmeister is solid. I don't think he'll make a lot of mistakes. I really like Raheem Blackshear at running back. And I think at the end of the day, defense wins bowl games like this one, especially when you can expect some winter weather in New York. Give me the Hokies. I'm going to put 20 points on it.
I got the Hokies as well over the Maryland Terrapins. Give me 31 on it.
All right. Clemson and Iowa State. This is the Cheez-It Bowl, which, by the way, again, if you're just now listening, Cheez-It, sponsor the show, please. I will eat Cheez-Its live on air every day. I promise you that. I will never get sick of Cheez-Its. But the Tigers, Parker, we kind of forgot about them after they lost their second game and eventually their third game of the year, but they're 9-3 rolling into this game. If that's a down year under Dabo, Dabo's one heck of a coach. But they go up against the Iowa State Cyclones. This will be a really good game, by the way. The question here, Parker, they have Justin Ross. They have Will Shipley. This Clemson team has a lot of weapons. The question is, they only average 27 points per game. Can DJ Uiagalelei move the ball? And I don't know if he can against an Iowa State defense that was really, really, really good. I think these defenses are near identical. I think they're both really good defenses. But I believe in Brock Purdy and Breece Hall more than I believe in DJ Uiagalelei. Give me the Cyclones in the Cheez-It Bowl. I'm putting 25 down on it.
Wow. I have the Tigers in this one. I think it's going to be close. Low-scoring defensive game. Give me the Tigers with 21.
All right. Oregon and Oklahoma. This is when it gets tough because we've got a lot of big numbers left, and we're starting to get into some close games.
Yeah.
Oklahoma Sooners, Oregon Ducks. This is a matchup of teams that I really never figured out how they play football, Parker. Oregon looked like a team that was on their way to the college football playoff, and then they got their butts kicked by Utah twice. Oklahoma looked like a team that might make the playoffs, and then they lost to Oklahoma State and Baylor 2 of their last 3 games. At the end of the day, though, I think that Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Anthony Brown, and I think that Kennedy Brooks and Troy Dye are about even in the running game. And I think both defenses aren't great. I think this is going to be a shootout, but I tend to side with quarterback talent like we've kind of learned as a theme here. I'm going to go with the Sooners. I'm going to put 38 points on it.
Ooh. Okay.
Because we're at a point where I might have to.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Sooners also. We'll put 34.
All right. Let's do our battle for the Carolinas, shall we? And that's North Carolina versus South Carolina. This is in the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte. So it's the battle for the Carolinas in Charlotte, which I think is very fitting. But Parker, I'm going to keep repeating myself, but it's how I feel. North Carolina's defense is by no means great. They're actually probably below average. But South Carolina's offense concerns me. I do not buy into their young quarterback Luke Doty as of yet. And I think that North Carolina's offense is just able to outpace the South Carolina Gamecocks. I really like Sam Howell. I know he didn't have his best year. Still think he's an NFL player in the making. Give me the Tar Heels in this one. And this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but I'm going to get my number one answer out of the way. 44 points on the Tar Heels.
I have the Tar Heels as well. I didn't go that quite that high. I have Tar Heels with 40.
Okay. Purdue and Tennessee. This is a game I'm really looking forward to, quietly. This is the Music City Bowl. Aiden O'Connell was really good for Purdue this year, as well as maybe the best wide receiver in the Big Ten this year in David Bell. Hendon Hooker was really solid for Tennessee, only 3 interceptions all year long. I think Tennessee brings the better offense to the table because I think they have the better quarterback, but I really like Purdue's defense. And I think that Purdue's coming off of 2 back-to-back big wins, while Tennessee semi-struggled with Vanderbilt. I'm going to take the Boilermakers in this one. I'm not going to put a ton on it, but I'm going to put enough on it. I'm going to do 19 on Purdue.
So this is going to be my hottest take, and this is going to be my number one game.
Okay.
Give me the Boilermakers at 44.
All right. I like it. All right. Michigan State and Pitt in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We're starting to get to the New Year's 6, my guy. Well, this is the night before, I guess. But I think the Peach Bowl is still a New Year's 6 game, right? Even though they're playing it the night before?
I think so, yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Whatever. This will be a good game. If Kenneth Walker's full strength ready to go, I think Sparty's got a good shot. But Parker, what really concerns me is Michigan State's got maybe one of the weakest secondaries out of any Power 5 school in the country. And that's a problem when you're going up against Kenny Pickett, a Heisman finalist. Kenny Pickett had 4,300 yards and 42 touchdowns this year. He's very good, obviously. He also has a really talented receiver in Jordan Addison, who had almost 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns. And plus, Pitt has only allowed about 91 rushing yards a game. So they might be one of the better defenses that Kenneth Walker's had to go up against. I really like Mel Tucker, and I think the Sparties had a great year. But I really think Pitt matches up well in this game. Give me the Panthers, 37 points.
I have Sparty with 25.
Okay. Wisconsin and
so just to clarify, folks, we'll do a couple more here, and then we'll go to top of the hour break, and then we'll come back and finish up this list.
Yep. Wisconsin, Arizona State, the Vegas Bowl. Graham Mertz and the Wisconsin Badgers went 8-4 this year. I think they played in the tougher conference, Parker. And I think they have the better defense. I love JT Daniels. Or Jaden Daniels, I'm sorry. JT Daniels was with Georgia. But Jaden Daniels, I think, is a really talented player, but does make a lot of careless mistakes. Herm Edwards, one of my favorite coaches in college football. I just think Wisconsin's ready for this game. I think they are the better team in this matchup. I'm putting 29 on the Badgers.
So I'm going to go with the Badgers as well, and I'm pretty confident. I love Herm Edwards more than the next guy, but I'm pretty confident in the Badgers here. Give me the Badgers at 42.
All right. We got time for one more game here before the legal ID. It's going to be Wake Forest and Texas A&M in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Aggies are obviously known for beating Alabama, as well as having one of the best defenses in college football. When we started this, I really thought that I was going to pick the team with the better quarterback, and that would be Wake Forest here. Sam Hartman, really, really good. But I think Zach Calzada has a lot of growing to do, but I think he's got better weapons around him with Isaiah Spiller, Jalen Weidermeyer, some of those other players on that offense. Plus, I think he's got a better defense that can back him up. I think that Wake Forest, after getting off to that hot start, giving up 58 to North Carolina, 48 to Clemson, 45 to Pitt, I think Wake Forest is kind of on a downhill, little decline here. So I'm going to put 34 points on the 34 points on the Aggies of Texas A&M.
I'm right there with you. I have 33 with the Aggies.
Okay.
So
we'll step away.
We'll
finish
take
this up.
We'll take a quick break, folks. Hit our legal ID here at the top of the hour. We'll come back. We got about 11-ish more teams to go. So we'll take a quick break. More college football picks when we come back on Keep It Real.
What's going on? It's Kev Nash from Hot 102.9 and 1410 Wing AM. And did I mention I'm a WWSU alum? You're hanging out with my guys, Testa and Neal, as they keep it real right here on Dayton's Right Choice.
I did it again.
You did it again. You did not do the L dance again. I did not want you to, but you did it anyway. Welcome back to Keep It Real, everybody, right here on WWSU 106.9. Appreciate you hanging out with us on this Thursday afternoon. I don't even know what date it is anymore. It's been that kind of week. But what do you mean required top of hour ID was not aired? We just did that. Yeah, we are back, and we have 11 bowl games left to go to pick.
We're going to start with Miami Hurricanes against the Washington State Cougars in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, which is such a stupid name. But this game features two meh defenses and two offenses that have their days. I think Miami has their day a little bit more than Washington State does. I think both of these quarterbacks are pretty even, Jaden DeLora and Tyler Van Dyke. I think the difference I'm going to make here, Parker, is I really think that the biggest impact in this game is going to be the best skill position player in this game. For me, that's Charleston Rambo, the star receiver for the Hurricanes. I like Miami in this game, and I'm going to put 22 on it.
I'll take the Hurricanes as well with 28.
Okay.
Excuse me, 27.
All right. Next game is Central Michigan and Boise State. This is the Arizona Bowl presented by Barstool Sports. And you can only watch it streaming on Barstool. Central Michigan's got a really good offense, and it's because of their running back, Parker, in Lou Nichols III. This kid, out of nowhere, ran for 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns as a freshman out of Detroit. So he's got a bright future.
You think?
Yeah. But I think Boise's been more battle-tested over the course of the season. Their last game they lost, but it was to San Diego State. Before that, they had beaten up on a ranked Fresno team. They had beaten Wyoming. They had shut out New Mexico. I think they have the better defense as well, and I really like Hank Bachmeier. I think he's an underrated quarterback. I think he's really solid as a junior this year. 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, a little over 3,000 yards. Yeah, he has his moments of being kind of a game manager, but I think all in all, Boise State shows up in this game, and I think they win it. I'm going to put 27 points on the Broncos.
I got Boise State as well. I think they're a great team. They're gonna have a good day. I got 29 with Boise State.
All right, we're saving the playoff games for last, so we're going to get to those in a bit. Let's get to this is the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, this one's tough for me to pick, Parker, because I do not believe in Sean Clifford. I don't think he's a great quarterback. But at the same time, I really like Jahan Dotson, and I really think the Penn State has a better defense than the Arkansas Razorbacks. The problem here is...
Yeah, I knew there was a but coming.
The problem here is Penn State's, like I said earlier with who was the team I was talking about earlier? That was kind of on the downhill spiral. I forget.
Shea, we've
Wake
gone through 35 of these. I don't know.
Wake Forest. Wake Forest has been kind of on a downhill spiral. I think Penn State's the same way, losing to Ohio State, losing to Michigan, losing to Michigan State. I think they're kind of on a little bit of a downhill here. The last 5 games for the Hogs, they've only lost 1 game, and it was by 7 in Tuscaloosa against the Tide. I like the Razorbacks in this game, like a lot of people do, and I'm going to put 38 points on the Hogs.
I like the Hogs as well. I'm putting 43 down on the Hogs.
All right. So we get to New Year's Day. We continue our coverage of the New Year's games. The Fiesta Bowl, Notre Dame and Oklahoma State, the debut for new head coach Marcus Freeman. Now, Parker, I really like this Oklahoma State defense. They're one of the best in college football, and they've proved it consistently. But in this game, there's another but, by the way. In this game, I'm going to rock with the Irish. I think that Jack Cohn makes me more comfortable than Spencer Sanders. I think Spencer Sanders sometimes has, Joe Burrow disease, where he sometimes tries too hard to make a play and throws a bad pick. Hence what he did 4 times against Baylor. But I also like Kyrian Williams. I think this is a really good debut game for Marcus Freeman, especially because the D coordinator that made this Cowboy defense, he's now at Ohio State. So he's not even going to be coaching that team in that bowl game. Give me the Irish, and I'm going to put 34 points down on Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman also. Give me 32.
All right. We move on to Kentucky and Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. This is going to be a sneaky good game, I think. I really like the Kentucky Wildcats. Their offense is really good. Iowa's offense is not, but they just kind of find ways to win, like what every Iowa team ever does. But in this game, I think I really like Tyler Goodson, the running back for Iowa. I think if they can get him involved in both the running and passing game, Iowa has a great shot. But I think Will Levis is able to spread the field a little bit more. I think Iowa's a little too one-dimensional for my liking. I'm going to go with the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm not going to put a ton on it. I'm only going to put 18 points on it, but I like Kentucky.
Yeah, it's tough for me. I like Iowa in this one. They did not play a good game against Michigan in the Big Ten championship game. They didn't. But I'm going to go with Iowa as well. I'm going to go with the same number at 18.
All right, 6 more games to go. And by 6, I believe that means we have 3, and then the college football playoff, and then the national championship. So let's start with the granddaddy of them all, and that's Utah against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Should be a great game. I'm a little bit concerned about Garrett Wilson not playing for Ohio State, but they will still have Chris Olave. They will still have Jackson Smith and Njigba, and obviously Julian Fleming, another 5-star receiver that's just chilling there for Ohio State. I think that Utah has the better defense. I think that Utah gets to C.J. Stroud a little bit more than C.J. Stroud is used to. I think they have a great pass rush. But at the end of the day, I think Ohio State just has so many weapons. I think they take this game. I'm not going to put a ton of points on it, but I'm going to put enough. I'm going to put an even 30 on the Buckeyes.
I like the Buckeyes here. Give me 41.
All right. Let's do the Sugar Bowl. And this might be my favorite non-playoff matchup of the entire bowl season because we have a great offense going up against a great defense. The Lane Train and Ole Miss going up against the Baylor Bears and Dave Aranda. This will be a great game. Love Matt Corral. But Baylor can hold their own on offense as well. Abram Smith, as well as Jerry Bohannon. I think it's a solid team. And I think their defense definitely is superior. And I think their defense is able to slow down Matt Corral and Jerrion Ealy. I think even though Ole Miss, both of these teams are coming off of 4 consecutive wins, but Ole Miss hasn't faced a ranked team in about 2 months before this game, while Baylor's coming off of a Big 12 championship win against Oklahoma State. I like the Bears in this one. I think Dave Aranda gets his signature moment in this Sugar Bowl win. I'm going to put 35 points on the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to take Baylor as well, and give me 34 points with the Baylor Bears.
Our final non-playoff matchup will be the Kansas State Wildcats against the LSU Tigers. Brian Kelly will not be coaching in this game. It will be their offensive coordinator, their offensive line coach, or something like that. I forget who it is. But Max Johnson will also not be playing in this game. He entered the transfer portal. I think at the end of the day, Parker, there's just a lot of turnover and a lot of change for an LSU team. They're going to be riding in with a backup quarterback, a new coach. It's a team that doesn't have a great defense. It's a team that has an okay offense. I think at the end of the day, it's just a lot to overcome. I'm going to take the Wildcats in this game, and I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to put 42 points on Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas State as well, even though the more popular option pick here is the Tigers.
Because more teams know. I feel like more people know LSU.
Yeah,
I feel like that's why LSU
people don't know.
picked.
People don't know K-State football. I'm confident in this one. I'm going to put down a solid 37.
All right, let's get to the playoff games, Parker. Let's start with the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. It is the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, I've been dreading this segment all week because I knew we'd eventually get to this game. And every bit of my being wants to pick the Bearcats here. And I'm debating in my mind right now if I have the guts to do it. And I do. I believe in Luke Fickell. I believe in Desmond Ridder. I think they hold off the first punch from the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think they keep it close. And I think down the stretch, we see that a senior makes more plays to win than a freshman, even if that freshman won the Heisman. Even though that freshman won the Heisman, give me an even 10 points on the Cincinnati Bearcats.
I can't bet against Saban.
I know.
And I am not going to bet against Saban. I'm taking Alabama with 14.
All right. And then our other playoff matchup, this is going to be one of the toughest games for me to pick. The Georgia Bulldogs, the Michigan Wolverines. I believe that Kirby Smart and the Georgia team is very, very good. Stetson Bennett's had a really solid year. It's maybe the best defense of our generation. They have only allowed 250 yards a game, 81 rushing yards. Parker, I think this Michigan team's clicking right now, though. And I think that Georgia loss to Alabama maybe has them a little shook. I'm taking the Wolverines. I'm not super confident in it. I think this is going to be one of the closer games of the entire bowl season. But I'm going to put 7 points on the Michigan Wolverines to beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
I'm taking Michigan as well. I'm going to put 17 on it.
All right, so now we get to our national title pick here, where for you it is Alabama versus Michigan. For me, it is Cincinnati versus Michigan. And I'm already this far in. I might as well just do it. I'm taking the Bearcats to win it all. Cinderella season. Might as well. Why not? I'll put 9 points on them there. If that ends up aging well, I look like a genius.
If it doesn't, you look like everybody else.
Right.
But problem here is I don't know what number I have left. We'll figure it out. But yeah. I'm gonna take Michigan.
Wow. All right.
I don't know what number I have left, but we'll figure it out later.
All right. Well, and the tiebreaker here in this game that we have set up, again, if you're just now joining, you can find Parker's Twitter, and he's set it up where any of you can join as well, play along with us here on the show. But the tiebreaker is how many points will be scored in the College Football National Championship game. My matchup is Cincinnati versus Michigan. I think that's more of a defensive battle. So for me, I'd be thinking something along the lines of like 31-27. So I'm going to go with about 57 points for the total points scored in that game.
I don't see that. Where is that?
It should be at the bottom of the thing. It says tiebreaker.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. This one's tough.
So you have Alabama versus Michigan, so it might be a little bit higher scoring, but
I'm gonna take an even. Well, I'm gonna take 62.
62. All right. So you're anticipating something along the lines of about 34-31, something like that.
Yes.
All right.
That was fun.
That was really fun.
We had a good show today.
We did, and it's gonna be just as good tomorrow. Our 30 for 30 tier list, as well as our Testa and Neal GOAT discussion, where we're gonna bring I'm going to work hard tonight getting resumes together for different categories.
Yeah.
For instance, just to give you an example at home, NFL wide receivers. I'll put resumes together for Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Calvin Johnson, and we'll decide who's the GOAT wide receiver. I think we both know our answer.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be cool to look at resumes.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to be fun. So I got some 30 for 30s to watch tonight.
Absolutely.
I got some research to do on some NFL players. We'll have some fun tomorrow.
No doubt about it.
For the Friday show. Maybe we'll even get a guest on.
Hey,
who knows?
You never know.
We'll figure something
This
out.
show is about as unpredictable as it gets.
Right, absolutely. And more L's of the week. Because why not?
Jackson Mahomes is a big L of the week.
Yeah.
After that, oof.
Absolutely. So, with that, folks, we appreciate you hanging out with us today on Keep It Real. We will be back tomorrow, same time, 1 to 3. And we look forward to hanging out with y'all to wrap up a fun week. So, with that, for Shea and Neal across the desk from me, I'm Parker Testa, and we will see you tomorrow. So have a good Thursday, folks, and we'll see you.
This is Don Smith from the Legend.